Hello, everybody on YouTube. This is going to be a little bit of a different vibe for me. I'm going to go into why it's so hard for me personally to vlog, and then maybe what you can do about it if it's hard for you as well. So this is vlog number 5 in the series of Savvy Sexually Social Vlog Every Day in April, episode 5. Coming right at you. So for those of you watching my video, how many of you are perfectionists? I'm going to say I am probably one of the worst perfectionists that ever walked this earth. And in fact, I can take you on a story, a trip long ago. If you picture a first grader standing in front of the room reading a magazine, it was an assignment we had. And if you can picture a magazine has 2 columns on a page, well, this little guy got up and started reading. I was so nervous. I'm an aviation fanatic, okay? So I was reading about airplanes. What a great subject if you have to force yourself to get up in front of a bunch of students and read. Why not read about airplanes? Well, something in my head flipped, and rather than read the columns top to bottom, I read across the columns. And my teacher stopped me and says, "That just doesn't sound right." Sure enough, it wasn't right. And she called me out in front of all my classmates. And I don't think she meant to do that. She wasn't trying to embarrass me, but that's what happened. And that was the very first time I think I became very much aware of how imperfect a human being can be. So it bothered me a lot. So being a perfectionist, it keeps me from really stepping out there. So me doing these videos is really tough. Not because I feel like I'm not adequate at it, but I'm just not a perfectionist. And what's worse is I'm in a hotel room away from home and I really can't edit the video. And on top of that, I'm using my iPhone speaker or microphone to record it, which sounds hollow. And in fact, I forgot to turn the TV off, so here we go. I can't even edit that part out, so I may just stop and start over. But nonetheless, I'm going to continue as if nothing is going on. So the title of the speech that I gave was Perfect Little Old Me. And I related the story about myself as a young child reading in front of my classes and how I was sort of petrified at public speaking from that point on. Now there's a lot more things. I'm basically introverted anyway. But there are a lot of people on YouTube doing videos who are also introverted, so they get through that. And I also audit companies for a living. I can't say for a living. I'm a QA manager, and part of that role is auditing companies. So when you think of it that way, there are many times that I'm the only guy sitting at the head of the table surrounded by people who work at the company who are listening to what I've got to say about how they do their work. I don't normally have a problem with that. So I can, in some cases, flip around and be maybe a little extroverted. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but the introversion is kind of put on the shelf, maybe the back burner, and I function at the level I need to at the moment. That's why I feel like I can sit in front of this camera and record myself. So really, it started to feel like an addict needing another hit or whatever, and I'm not a druggie and I don't drink, or an alcoholic needing another drink. So I started to enjoy speaking, yet not feeling like I did well at it. And there's been a time or two that my wife has listened to me speak, and I sit down next to her and I kind of put my hands on my head and feel like that really sucked. And she looks at me and says, "That was great." I wish I could turn my Periscope notifications off because they keep coming in, and I can't. So, with that said, my wife is trying to feel like I can, or she's trying to help me feel encouraged. But yet, every little detail of my existence revolved around what I thought I did 5 minutes ago. It didn't matter what I did 5 weeks ago or 5 years ago or what I'm about to do tomorrow. It was always about now. So working for a big company, so I'm not just going to talk about how bad I am at being a perfectionist. I'm going to tell you what I've done to help that. And I think it has really helped me in this instance, whereas I can put it in perspective a little bit better. I mentioned the other day about taking training in the military for mental resilience training. That helped a lot. But it came down to, what is your goal? What is your real goal and what is a stretch goal? The thing about goals is sometimes people set goals that can't be attained. And that was what I was doing. So the impact of that was me trying to reach something that's not reachable, preventing myself from doing anything in the first place because this goal is set so far out that I can't reach it, and my perfectionism kicks in. Maybe it's a little bit of ADD, I don't know. But nonetheless, the CEO of my company said one day in a message to Wall Street, we have a goal and we have a stretch goal. We know we can reach the goal, but if we do a little bit better, we've reached our stretch goal. That to me says we don't set our goal to a point we can't reach it. That's the important part about this. So we talk about goals and how you set them. Perfectionism isn't real. You cannot reach perfect. If you reach perfect, then you're not measuring tight enough. It can't be defined. A perfect result cannot be defined. A perfect result cannot be achieved. Seeking perfection yields a feeling of failure. And procrastination is a symptom of that. Procrastination isn't necessarily driven by being lazy. It's about feeling like you can't arrive where you have to get. So setting the appropriate goal is right. So what do you do about it? You have to set a deadline. Like, thanks to Amy Schmidhauer for saying, April, vlogging every day is the goal. So here we are, day 5. I've managed to, with some problems, I've managed to put out, this will be my fifth video on the 5th of April. So it has to be a realistic deadline. The timeline is important. You have to be able to describe the steps you're going to take to get from beginning to end. And that end is at either a goal or a stretch goal. And you have to define what's good enough. Your goal is what's good enough for you to feel like you have succeeded in your mission. And then you have to define what the stretch goal is. And the stretch goal, maybe tomorrow I do 2 videos and I release the second one on a schedule. I don't know. I might try that. I'm not sure how to do that, but that's something I can learn. But nonetheless, that's the feeling I get about perfectionism and what I've suffered with basically since I was, say, 5 or 6 years old, maybe 7. And I'm 48, so finally I'm getting to the point where at least I can admit publicly that I had the issue, and on top of that I can find a way to solve the problem. And hopefully by me sharing this on video, enough of you will see it and say, yeah, I do that too. And definitely reach out to me if you have a question about perfectionism or how it causes problems in your life. Let me know, and I'll be happy to talk through by chat or whatever. But nonetheless, that will conclude my video for the day. So I'm going to go back and listen to it and see how bad the TV is. If it's not too bad, I might just let it go. But nonetheless, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I've also not passed my goal today of 7-minute videos. I'm almost at 10, so no biggie. I just felt like I had a lot to say, and I don't feel like I repeated a lot. So nonetheless, happy vlogging, and we will see you on the 6th. Ta-ta!